Welcome to the TMZ Sports newsroom. We are so fortunate to have Bruce Buffer, the legendary Bruce Buffer, who has been a busy man, busy man lately. Bruce.
Busy. A road warrior for the UFC and for other things too.
Right. I mean, you go from the White House, you go Conor McGregor's comeback, the World Cup. It's just been nonstop for you. Let's start right there, Bruce, with the thing that we saw last. Look, you might like American football better, you like basketball better, but it's undeniable how popular soccer is, and this World Cup was such a hit. I mean, massive ratings, everybody watching, and it was an exciting tournament too. And you get to actually be a part of the finals. Talk to us about how this all came to be. When did you know it was going to be something you were doing? Just give me everything about the World Cup.
Well, first off, I can just say it was a complete honor.
Yeah.
To be on the field. It was a complete honor to be part of such a magnificent event, the biggest sporting event in the world, with viewing an audience of over 1 billion, possibly 2.5 plus billion people, and to be part of that along with my legendary brother Michael Buffer was a complete honor for both of us. The way it came about, last year FIFA approached me to announce the final championship game last year, and I wasn't able to because I had a pay-per-view for UFC, and I can't not do a pay-per-view. UFC Fight Night, of course, there's so many, I don't do them all. I have open time there. So I suggested my brother do it, and they had Michael do it. It went over great, of course. He's amazing at what he does, the best ever, most legendary announcer in the world. So they were very happy with that. Then they came to me this year and they said, look, we really want you to announce the World Cup championships. And I said, I would love to. So they got the date. I notified UFC. Luckily, it wasn't a numbered event. I got the date open, so I suggested to him, and we both came up together with the fact, how about Michael and I both do it together, right? So the only other time we've ever appeared together was during Formula One 2 years ago. I had announced Formula One 2 years in a row, and then I talked with Formula One and got Michael and I do it together, which was great for both of us. We had a blast. And if there's ever another event to do, it would be this. So we went in the studio, we filmed a bunch of videos they played at the quarterfinal games. Where we're on the Videotrons in the stadium, and it seems like we're there, but we're not, and those went over great. And then Michael appeared at the semifinal in Atlanta. I did the semifinal game in Dallas, and then we came out at the finals together, and we had the buff off.
You really did. It was a buff off, dueling buffers.
Yep.
What was the energy like? You were in an open air stadium. You got more people than are at a typical UFC event. What was the energy like? What did it feel like out there?
There was 83,000+ people in the stadium. Now, the largest audience I've ever announced to are football games like the Raiders. Sold out at Allegiant, incredible energy. But here, as soon as the camera hits you and you hear the audience, going off before you even say a word, it's like, wow, this energy is amazing. And I feed off energy. I feed off it in a UFC event in the stadiums. The more energy I get, the more energy I want to give. Because the way I love to announce, it's not what I say, it's how I say it. I throw every bit of passion, lung power, and energy into what I do, which is how I love to do it, to enhance that moment for the fighters, to enhance that moment for the fans beyond the level they are, which is what I wanted to do for the players and the fans at the FIFA Stadium. And wow, I mean, I was just like a kid in a candy store doing that. It was awesome. I'm
going to ask you about the UFC card in a minute. You've done, the White House card.
Still a UFC card.
Yeah, right, still is UFC card, but you've done UFC cards all over the world. Yeah. You've been at the White House. I mean, you've been everywhere at the coolest, biggest events. Is there a bucket list event, Bruce? Is there something, I mean, you said you did with Michael Formula One. Is there something you say, I would love to do that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've done so many different events for most all the sports out there, NFL, hockey, basketball, UFC, beer pong, I mean, it's like the things I get to do, tennis and all these events that come through to me over the years. I think the bucket list now is I've had the Super Bowl commercial. I did a Budweiser Super Bowl commercial. I did Super Bowl week introducing the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs a couple years ago in Vegas at the big event they had at Allegiant. But I haven't been on the field for the Super Bowl yet, okay? So my bucket list personally is to one day in the future have the honor being requested by the NFL to announce the opening of the Super Bowl.
How
That would
cool
be,
would that be?
That'd be so cool.
Well, it's in Los Angeles this year. You live in LA.
I live down the street from
Makes
SoFi.
sense, right? Yeah, right. It's an easy commute. You usually have to go get on a plane to go to work.
No, this is an Uber and I'm there.
Right, there you go.
Take note,
Roger
NFL.
Goodell.
I'm ready to go.
Bruce, talk to me about the White House. We'll set the politics aside, whether you love Trump, don't like Trump, whatever it might be. Being at the White House, I thought the event was so perfectly done from a production standpoint. It was just pitch perfect, in my opinion. I wasn't there. I had to watch on TV. What was it like to be out there?
The day before rehearsal, when Joe Rogan and John Anik, Megan, and all of us went to do our thing to get the timing down, because obviously it was a different setup.
Yeah.
That we had the fighters coming out. We don't normally rehearse like that before a show because we have all our things down.
Right.
But that was a big deal. Dana and the UFC spent a reported $60 million putting that together, taking a loss, I'm sure. But so we were out there doing our thing, and the moment I was went through all the security checks and everything, went on the grounds, and I'm standing in the Octagon, and the Marine Band was behind me rehearsing, and I'm looking at that, I'm looking at this, and there's the White House and all the history of being on the White House grounds, and it started to hit me like, wow. But when it really hit me was when we started the show and the Star Spangled Banner was being played for the first time at a UFC event, and I had my hand on my heart, and I mouth the words to the Star Spangled Banner, which I do proudly every time I hear it played, and they got a video of me, and as I'm doing it, the jets come over, right, and you see the jets fly over, and then I realize this is happening now. We have all the veterans in the audience, we have the responders, we have the military, police representatives from different cities, and it was an honor to be able to perform in war for them and have such an exciting show as it was, with all the fights really being
great. They were all knockout.
Great.
They all nothing went to the judges were not needed that night.
7 fights, if I'm correct, TKOs and knockouts. The final fight with Gaethje, one of the greatest fights ever.
Incredible.
What we've seen in the Octagon. So that was a night of entertainment for all the fans watching and for the veterans and everybody in attendance. And when I looked at the video and the White House is behind me as I'm announcing, it's like, wow, this is wild. I mean, they pulled it off, and they pulled off a wild event. It'll never happen again. I understand.
No, I think Dana's right.
Done,
can't
one
afford
and done.
Right. You might, at some point you must have pinched yourself and said well, this is actually real. I didn't think I'd ever be on the White House lawn.
No, and it's like in life, as I always say, I'll always cash the paycheck on a Monday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not about that solely. It's about the experience and the bucket list of experiences and the memories that I have in everything I've been humbly honored and been able to do all these years. I don't take anything for granted. I wake up every morning wanting to be the best I can be. I go out to every show, treating it like it's my very first show, and that I have to prove to the fans, the fighters, the powers that be, that I deserve to be here and be the Octagon announcer.
Right.
And I won't lose that passion, and that's the way I work.
Right. That Marine Band, by the way, Bruce, was amazing, I thought. I mean, the Justin Gaethje's walkout was incredible. And
amazing.
The band and the singer specifically was so talented, I thought. They were good.
What can I say? It's the U.S. Marines. My father was a U.S. Marine, served in World War II in Korea, was a drill instructor at Camp Pendleton. I mean, I would walk into a room when I was a kid and say, "Hi, Dad." And he'd say, "Son, project your voice, shoulders back, chest out, let them know you're in the room."
There it is.
I know that Marine mentality. And total respect, semper fi to everybody.
Right, look at that. And I think Dad maybe end up getting you this UFC job because
Hi, Dad.
It's right. Talk to me about Conor McGregor, UFC 329. We're all anticipating this. I'm sure you were too. I know you're a martial artist at your core.
Yeah.
Obviously, nobody wanted Conor to go in there and get hurt 5 seconds into the fight.
No.
You then have a moment with him, Bruce, where I think you put your hand on Conor's shoulder, but then he kind of goes in for a hug. And it to me almost looked like a son and a dad in a moment where he was hurting, not physically or only physically, but he was emotionally hurting, and he needed somebody there for him. And I know people think of him as Conor McGregor and this larger-than-life figure, but he was like a person that was hurting in that moment to me.
Well, I mean, obviously he was hurting, for sure. The build-up to that fight, everything. And, as a professional fighter, you're going in, and these men and women, these Octagon warriors, they train so hard, as all athletes do for their sport. and probably all of them have some kind of pain and hurt going in there. But I know from blowing my ACL, which I did in the Octagon, and I've done to both knees, how easily that can happen. When you do a kick, a jumping front kick the way he was throwing it, and if you land wrong, it doesn't take very much for that to happen. Yeah. If you were hurt previous to that, you would never even think about throwing that kind of a kick. So, he was hurt, all the buildup, everything happening to end that quick, and not to be able to perform, obviously affected in the way it did. I went over to him, put my hand on his shoulder. I said, "Are you okay?" And then he looked at me, and he came in, and he put his hand, his head on my shoulder, and we had that moment, which I've seen this picture, which was captured, which kind of like expressed the emotion of the moment.
Yeah.
So, they're warriors. I mean, I'm there to support them, announce them, and I hate seeing fighters get hurt.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody get hurt. They put their blood, sweat, and tears and lives on the line for our entertainment. And the last thing I want to see is any serious injury. And there's never, we've had injuries, but we've never had a death in the UFC.
Right. Thank God. And hopefully it stays like that. Would you like to, he says he's going to return, would you like to call that? Would that be a kind of a cool moment to see him be able to come back after dealing with this adversity here?
Well, of course it'd be a cool moment, but he has a lot ahead of him. This kind of an injury, he's going to be rehabbing, and by my guesstimation, it's like a year.
Right.
So,
Just
with
turned
everything,
38.
with everything he's accomplished, and where he is financially, where he is in this point in his life, he's got a decision to make, which only he can make. But he has one more fight on his contract, and if he wants to go for it, it won't be till over a year till we see that happen.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll be there to announce it.
Yeah.
I don't plan on going anywhere.
No, I'm glad you said that. I wanted to ask you about that. The UFC recently celebrated 30 years of Bruce Buffer. Awesome tribute. Cannot believe, I'm sure you can't believe, Bruce, it's been that long.
No.
How, and I hope you never go anywhere, and I know the fans believe that too.
Oh,
what do we think for the future? What's the future look like with Bruce Buffer in the UFC?
It's about my passion for doing what I do, which is getting stronger than ever it's ever been. The ability to go out and physically and mentally do what I do.
Yeah.
And give it my all. And as long as I can do that, which I plan on doing for many years to come, then I'm going to be here. I don't plan on going anywhere. The moment my passion wanes and I'm sitting there doing this for a paycheck and just doing it to do it, that's not going to make me happy. Right. I enjoy what I do. I love the fans of the UFC, the greatest fans in the world, some of the greatest sporting fans in the world. Everybody I work with, and it's an honor. It's an honor.
Yeah.
I feel very lucky, and like I said, every day I wake up humbled by the fact that I can say I'm the UFC Octagon announcer. It's a great position. And then the ability to do all these other events, as I've done over the years, I mean, it's very cool.
Sounds like a great gig.
Yeah, it's a great gig.
Absolutely. All right, talk to me. When you're not in the Octagon or on the pitch of the World Cup, you've got a lot of different things, Bruce. We've got some of the stuff over here. We got
Puncher
liquor.
chance.
Right, exactly. We've got cologne. You also have, and I've been there. It's awesome.
Thank you.
You have it doesn't do it justice to call it a card store. It's Time in Agora. Talk to me about why you got into this. How did that even happen? And just talk to me about It's Time.
Well, it's the It's Time Sports Cars and TCG Center. And as we all know, the craze, which has been going on for a long time, I've been a collector of sports cards and vintage memorabilia for 40, 50 years, okay? Ever since I was a kid. I love the whole sports card idea. And, Tom Brady's opened his vault stores. There's stores around. Pokemon is just going through the roof with everybody. So with the popularity that's been going on for a while, but is in a huge upswing right now for investment purposes and everything else, I was playing poker. Okay, I love to play poker. I'm a poker player. So I was playing poker on a TV show, and one of the players at the table has a friend, or rather a family member, who owns like 102 Domino's pizza stores and 3 Ace Hardware stores, and his name is O'Day, right?
Okay.
So he set up a meeting with me and O'Day because I've always had this idea I wanted to start It's Time Pizza. If it's not there in 45 minutes, it's free, that kind of thing. It's time. So I met with him, and he said, this is a great idea. We could build this, but it would take 5 years to get where we want to get. I have a better idea, because he knew I was a sports card collector. And he brought up the whole concept of, the sports cards, and after the second sentence, he had me, right? I was there. I said, really? That's a great idea. So we came up with the idea for the It's Time Sports Cars and TCG Center. But we didn't just want to open up a card store where you walk in and there's cards around, with respect to all the card stores out there. We wanted to make it a place where people want to be for 2-3 hours and come and visit.
Yeah.
And you were there opening night.
Had a blast.
It's 8,000 square feet.
Yep.
It's in Agoura Hills, California. Just go to itsTimeCards.com. You can see everything going on in the store. We're on the app Whatnot. Our streamers, they sell cards there. We have streamers, working all over the country. Of course, with the in sale, we even started our own card show we have every other month. And a lot of awareness going on, and it's a big hit. But it's 8,000 square feet, right? You walk in, the first room is all the vintage sports cards and Fanatics cards and UFC cards and everything. You go in the next room, it's Pokemon, it's Magic, it's all the cards you want. You go in the next room, it can house 200 people. For watch parties, we've got a golf simulator, like a $65,000 golf simulator, sports simulator. You can play all the games and everything. People love that. A little quarter court basketball court for Nerf balls, and the kids are having a blast. The parents bring their kids in. They have ripping tables. They can open up and and trade with each other, and they spend time there, and they really like it.
Wow.
I mean, people are even renting it out for birthday parties, and it's crazy.
That's
it's
great.
Wild.
Do you plan to just keep the one in Agoura Hills, or would you like to expand this ultimately?
This is the mothership.
Okay.
And it's just going so incredibly. Yes, we do plan on opening up franchises, and we already have our eyes on 1 or 2 locations right now. Yeah.
You're killing it.
This time cars, baby.
There it is.
Yep.
Anything else that we didn't touch on?
Well, the cologne, the bourbon. There's a few more things that are in the works right now.
You got some things in the works?
Yeah.
You stay busy.
I'm a brand builder, so it's honorably so with my brother, the Let's Get Ready to Rumble brand and all that we did with that, and it's fun. You start from a base and you build out from there. I love doing motivational speeches, for business, but business and marketing is my base before I ever got into this.
How many custom messages for weddings and birthdays? How many are you doing a week of those?
Well, I'm proud to say I'm like in the top, one of the top people at Cameo.
Sure you are.
Cameo.com. We do a lot of cameos. And then at my website, brucebuffer.com, people write in, and we have an order form for championship audio or video, being introduced like a UFC champion, right? And I make it really special for them. But one of the big things that comes into brucebuffer.com, which I don't do on Cameo, is weddings. So we get 10 or more requests, or more, 20 sometimes a week.
Wow.
For weddings happening. And then I film, 5 or more, or record, every week, and walking down the aisle of love forever, presenting, make it really special. And my partner, Kristen, who runs, my business along with me, we get these thank you notes coming in, and I got to be honest with you, it brings tears in my eyes that we can be, you know what I mean by that, part of somebody's special day. Right. Making them happy. I like making people happy.
Right. Yeah. How cool is that they think of you and they want you to be part of one of the most important days of their life?
It's incredible. It's like, okay, FIFA calls me, and then somebody calls me for their wedding.
Yeah.
Kind of the same.
Right. Thank you for coming, Bruce.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. It's great to see you,
I appreciate it very much. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.